Futureproof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high impact bespoke events. Hello, you're watching Futureproof. Thank you for joining me, Sarah Hopwood. I'm going to be filming some business television programs as I travel around South America and come through the Panama Canal, and indeed from Colombia then come to Curaçao and then into the Caribbean. I'm keeping these programs as business. I think it's important that part of future-proofing is looking at history, looking at how other people do things, understanding why other people are the way that they are, but also we've been able to look and celebrate technology, and a fine example of that is the building of the Panama Canal about 120 odd years ago, and that was very much, yes, it was for convenience at the time. Many lives were lost. It certainly has improved industry, and of course it is all part of future proofing, and there are many more canals that have been built. I have heard talks and seen examples of them, and geologically some work better than others, and I was told that the Panama Canal was ideal in many ways, though they did suffer quite a lot with landslides and lost many lives from malaria and yellow fever. Even though I joined the cruise, Paul and I joined the cruise in Peru, we have had to have yellow fever vaccinations, and we're now coming out of that danger zone. So I hope that you enjoy the programs, and yeah, cool. So here we are in Curaçao. A beautiful place. Many have got off the ship for excursions this morning, and I'm going to be escorting on an excursion this afternoon, and it will just be taking us around and showing us all the main sites. It's quite breezy, the sea is a little bit choppy, so at one point I was thinking that I might go and find a beach. I do love swimming in the sea, but it was actually on a water taxi, which is what I would need if I wanted to swim here. It was on a water taxi in December that I actually slipped and broke my foot when the sea was a bit choppy, and this sea at the moment is more than just a bit choppy. So I've actually been in the pool. They've changed the policy on board ships now. Years ago when I was a cruise speaker, you were not allowed to swim at all. I think it was something like if you were working on board, then it was not for the guests to see you in a swimming costume. But certainly on the last two ships I've been on, that code of practice has changed, and on one it was just make sure that the pool is empty or not full and you can swim, but on board this ship I've just been told just make sure you swim within the opening hours. I do think that has something to do with the use of the pools. They are used, but they're not overused, so there always is space, which is why I think they've been able to relax and if you like, let up on the rules. Anyway, this is Curaçao.
There is somebody skillful, recognized to play the piano, otherwise it will remain wrong. You can see on front here a map. This is a geographical position of the Netherlands West Indies. The Netherlands have many territories, and few of them were, for example, St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, and Suriname. They were the Netherlands West Indies. So why I'm showing you this whole map was brought to the United States, New York, in 1939, when we have a worldwide exposition.
I find this fascinating. I'm in Curaçao, and we are in now a museum, And we've come through just from the piano, where you would have heard the bells being played. And then we've come through to the kitchen, and I love what she's just told us, that the reason why they have all the dots on the walls is because flies have many senses, and the dots actually confuse them, so they fly off. Talk about that as future-proofing. Get rid of flies by putting a load of dots in your kitchen. Love it.
They keep it open and they try to renovate it on a low pitch. But in May and June and July, it will be completely closed. So, unfortunately. Now, it is very important to renovate it because we have 47 huge bells hanging out here, and small bells. The 4 huge bells have the names of the children, the royal children of the House of the Netherlands, inscribed in the bells. And then you have the other bells also have the names of very prominent persons in Curacao, the ones who founded the museum, governors, etc. In total, 47 bells. Now, to renovate this area is a challenge because you have to bring each bell down, and this is the only carry-on in the Caribbean which is intact, because it will do more damage to the structure. So you have an idea, these are the strings, okay? These are all the strings, and here, this is the small bell, okay? And I mean, just let...
choir would like a little bit of help. We all know that there's a lot of fear and uncertainty, but as human beings, we have a tremendous capacity to be resilient. So we're going to be singing Sound of Silence, and we would like to bring all hearts and minds together.